Welcome to Positive Kids Podcast, dedicated to developing resilient minds, with your host, Chanel Arterbridge.
Hello, this is Chanel with Positive Kids Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me this week. This week, I wanted to just really get into my three-step process, or I would more than likely call it 3 pillars of my message in regards to increasing kids' capabilities on how to deal with challenges and adversities. That's the main goal here at Positive Kids. And so I wanted to make a simple process or a simple guideline or map in order to do that. Because as parents, we're concerned, how will our children overcome adversity? How will they deal with stressful events, especially as they become adults? So we want to set them on the path of success as best we can as parents, because we all know children do not come with instructions. So here at Positive Kids, the inspiration behind Positive Kids messaging is I have 2 boys, Preston and Alex, and they are African American, of course, because their mama is. And so I know that they are going to definitely encounter different things. And one of those things is going to be racism and discrimination. And I want them to be able to overcome that or just deal with it in a way that they are resilient here. So we did discuss expanded ACEs. For those that may not have listened to other episodes, I encourage you to go back and listen to a few episodes in regards to what are ACEs, which stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences, and also expanded ACEs, where in 2012, there were 10 questions on the original questionnaire. And then in 2012, a few other ACEs or adverse childhood experiences were added on for people to consider that may contribute to negative health outcomes in adulthood. So those are things I've gone in depth in past episodes. And so this episode is really about how do we at Positive Kids address this or try to deal with the toxic stress from the ACEs. Okay. So the first one, and these are not, they shouldn't be in any particular order. It's really just mixing the pot, making sure you have all these ingredients in there. And so the first ingredient I like to put in the bowl here is I want to make sure I provide positive feedback that encourages the children to see themselves with positive identities. Very, very important. I have learned in my years here on earth is that my soundtrack of my life are my parents. My parents and what they poured into me or verbalized to me through my development as in youth, they are constantly in the back of my mind when it comes to some of the comments they have made or statements they have made. And so it is very, very important for any chance I get, because I know I'm a tape recorder. My kids' minds are tape recorders. That's how I like to look at it. So when I'm not around, they're going to play that tape recorder of what I said. So it's very important that anytime I have an encounter with my children, I want to make sure I'm always giving positive feedback, okay, or corrective criticism, okay? I don't want to keep beating them down, because when they go back and play that recording of what I said, then they're going to feel bad or 10 times worse. And I do not want that. So as a goal, I want to make sure that any time I have an opportunity to just add a positive outlook to the situation and lift my children up and edify them, rather be just during the course of a conversation, when it comes to how they look in their clothes or how their hair looks, or just, hugging them. I just want to make sure that they know that they are great just the way they are. Okay. Always encouraging them. For me, I'm always encouraging my children to love the skin that they're in. Okay, very important, because I do not want them to look in the mirror and be like, oh, I wish I was a few shades lighter, wish I was not black at all. Also want to make sure I encourage my children to love their features, their physical features. Oh, I love your lips, I love your nose, look at those eyelashes. Oh, your ears are so, it could be so silly, but they laugh, they love it. And when you actually are doing it and making it habitual, they start to look in the mirror and start to not see anything that is unlovable. And that's my goal. I have a 5-year-old and 9-year-old, and I know some of my listeners have teenagers, and I would definitely encourage you to help me out here and let me know what the children encounter when they are in those teenage years and when they go to school, their physical attributes are under attack. If I can remember being a teenager. So I know that that is on the horizon for me as I'm raising my 5 and 9-year-old. So I want to try to give them the best foundation I can because they are going to encounter that, I want to say bullying, but they're going to be comparing themselves to their peers. They're going to be, as they get older and grow, they're going to become more aware of what's considered to be handsome, what's considered to be beautiful, and, the society's mantra of beauty. So I am really making a conscious effort to let me try, okay, and just let them know how great they are just the way they are, okay? Oh my goodness, look at you in them outfit. Look at them legs. They're beautiful. When we are, I'll just give you an example here really quickly about this part 1 that I like to do of providing positive feedback that encourages children to see themselves in positive identities. In the morning, our morning routine. Okay, my children have processed, we take showers and they get ready for school or for the day. There's certain things they have to do to prepare, in their hygiene. And one of those is to moisturize your skin. So we use Aquaphor, which is very similar to Vaseline. Sometimes we use lotion as well, but we just want to make sure we don't get ashy. We want to make sure we don't look like we've been rolling around in powder. So we are big advocates here of moisturizing. And during that time, I tell my children, this is the time to love on yourself. Okay. I want you really to massage yourself and just look how beautiful your skin is and take the time to say, oh my goodness, I'm strong and look what God has done. And I'm able to lift my arm up high and my skin is glistening and wow, it's just so beautiful. And then take the time as you massage your legs and just praising yourself, taking that 2 minutes or so as you are moisturizing your body to really love on yourself and create that foundation that I am great just the way I am. There's nothing wrong with me. I was born like this, made like this on purpose. And that 2 minutes out of the day, as we do our moisturizing routine, we have created that to be a point where from now on, they will always associate positive identity with their body. Okay. Because I attached it to when you moisturize. Okay. Now, sometimes my kids being 5 and 9, they don't always moisturize. Of course, with my 5-year-old, I am moisturizing him. He can't really do it himself or get it all over his clothes. So I take the time to really say, oh, look at these strong legs. And oh my goodness, you're so handsome. And, God made you just the way you are. Look at those eyes. I really take that time. And I used to do that with my 9-year-old when he was younger, but now he has taken that on himself. And when he does forget, because he's 9, he does forget sometimes, because you can tell he'll walk out the room fully dressed like, Mom, I'm ready. And then you look at his knees and it looks like he was sitting in powder. So I'm like, did you love on yourself yet? It doesn't look like you loved on yourself and gave you a positive massage to yourself. And he's like, no, I didn't. So we are able to refer back to the association of creating the positive feedback where, I'm able to refer back to that. So that is something that I encourage you. Find something. It doesn't always have to be a routine. It could just be in a conversation where the kids are being bombarded with positive feedback from you. And that is definitely going to help them increase their capability of overcoming challenges if they're able to know that they were created without anything missing, that they are worthy and are capable of accomplishing all things. Okay, going on to the next one. And this is something I've been doing for a while, and that is just the practicing of daily affirmations. And we want to do the affirmations because it's been proven that positive affirmations redirect thoughts before they have an intense emotional response. Okay, that is something that Harvard has a few articles about in regards to, is there any proof that affirmations work? They do. They work. So it's not a bunch of mumbo jumbo and, oh my goodness, I'm just saying these words and they're not doing anything. If you make a habit out of it, you're consistent. Eventually it retrains your brain and redirects your thoughts. Because the whole thing about ACEs is that you are, prior to the age of 18, you are encountering an event that is causing your stress response to always be engaged. And when your stress response is always engaged, then it starts to mess with your development, your physical development, your mental development. And so when you're engaged too much, all the resources that your body has in order to help you deal with the stressor, are you going to engage and fight or are you going to run? Everything is needed in order for you to deal with that stress. Well, that means that you're pulling resources away from other things when it comes to emotional development and when it comes to cognitive development. If all your resources are going toward fight or flight, then that means other things that your immune system is suffering. So your mental development, you have your emotional development, and you have your immune health that is being compromised because you're under a lot of stress and always having to be on guard dealing with the stress, which becomes toxic. Of course, we know this. So the daily affirmations is very integral here because we want to make sure that we can stop that process before it begins. Okay? We do not want our children to be on high alert all the time. Okay? So anything we can do to stop that, let's do it. Okay? And we're going to do that with practicing daily affirmations. Okay, it becomes to the point when they say it all the time, it becomes second nature. You as a parent can refer to it when your children are feeling down on themselves. You can say, hey, remember our affirmation that we said, I am, and then ... whatever you want to add on to that. That is a positive affirmation. But you as a parent, I just want to let you know the reason why you're doing the affirmations with your children is because you do not want their stresses to turn into toxic stress. Okay, that is the main goal of that. So let's go back to my children. And why do I do this? Because my children are Black boys. Okay. And they are going to be, I'm not going to say physically attacked. I hope not, but they are going to come up against some adversities and challenges when it comes to their race. And they may be told that they're not good enough and that they're not capable of doing things because of their skin color, and they will get angry, I'm sure. And they will want to, maybe fight, but hopefully they will not do that because, of course, I teach them about self-control. But also, the affirmations are going to build on that and they'll realize, okay, they can go into their bucket of affirmations to deal with that stress, okay? It will okay, this person's saying I'm no good, but, I am, God made me just the way I am. I am capable of doing all things. And so this will kind of try to subsidize the stress response. Not saying that it's going to go away. Not saying that the daily affirmations get rid of stress altogether. Not saying that. But I am saying that it helps in building resiliency. Okay, you get knocked down, but you will get back up. And when you get back up, you will then be aware, okay, that person was trying to knock me down with their insults by degrading me or so on and so forth. So I had to reach into my bag of affirmations and that helped me to overcome that and dust it off. Okay. That's why we want to include the daily affirmations in the pillars here at Positive Kids. Okay. And the last one is that we want to create routines. Okay, creating routines to reduce exposure to stressful experiences. I'm dealing with that right now. I'm sure as my kids continue to grow, just to keep them out of trouble or to minimize certain adversities, that I want them to have a consistent routine. Okay, you go to school, you come home, you do your homework, we go to the extracurricular activity, we come home, you have dinner. If you can keep that regimen going of a routine, then it also helps the children feel safe. And when the children feel safe, then they thrive. Okay, so safe, stable, healthy relationships, that also comes in the form of routine. So as a parent, I want to be my children's safe place. And if my children feel safe based on the fact that they know what to expect day in and day out, then that gives them security. It's like a security blanket. Look at the routine as a security blanket. And they will know that even if they encounter a stress, it won't last forever because the routine says so. All right. We know that I'm not going to be exposed to this person or this environment that's, causing my stress response to be on high alert. I'm not going to be in this environment for too long because my mom's going to pick me up soon. And then from there, I'm going to get a nice healthy meal for dinner. And then from there, I go off to my karate practice and so on. And that I engage in and get my energy out. And then I know also that my mom will be there or my dad will be there or another caring adult will be there to help me with my homework. I have my homework time. And so, and then I have the ability to just know what to expect. Okay. And that's what the routine is for. Know what to expect. All right. I've even taken the liberty of posting a routine on my children's. I've printed it out and I have posted it on their wall. Made a routine just as simple as, okay, we get up at 7 a.m., we brush your teeth. Then after you brush your teeth, then you take your shower and then you have your breakfast and then you go to school, you come home, it's like step by step by step. You pick up your book bag and you get your homework book out. So all these things are laid out for my children and it just creates the ability for not having them to use any energy on what's going to come next, the uncertainty, because there is stress in uncertainty. So as parents, caregivers, educators, we want to provide routines for our kids. I mean, the schools do it. That's when I knew, a light bulb went off for me. So the teachers do it. The teachers create routines for their kids starting from the first day of school in September on to the summer months. They create a routine that the children know, okay, the circle time is this, and then we read books or we go and we do science, and then I know what my teacher expects of me in the classroom. I know that this section over here is for that, and we go over to that section, the reading section, and we pick a book on our own at 2:30, and so they know what to expect. The teachers are very good with creating routines. That's because they went to school for education, and I guess somewhere along in that curriculum, it says it's very important to get a routine going in your classroom with your kids to get the most out of them. Yes, because when I truly believe once you remove that uncertainty and your kids know what to expect, you have less behavioral issues. You also minimize the amount of time they are in a stressful event or experiencing a stressful event that turns toxic. Okay, so those are my 3 pillars. And I do encourage you to go to positivekp.com, which is my website, and I do have it there as well in a nice little graphic. I put them in no specific order, but today on the podcast, I did say 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to go over them one more time, and hopefully you have a way of incorporating these tidbits into the development of your children here. So we're going to go again, review these 3 things I'm talking about again are to increase your kids' capabilities of dealing with challenges. Okay. First, we want to provide positive feedback that encourages our children to see themselves with positive identities. Okay. Then we want to practice daily affirmations to redirect their thoughts before they have an intense emotional response. And then lastly, we want to create routines to reduce exposure to stressful experiences. These are going to set our kids on the path of success. They are going to help them to be resilient because we know they will get knocked down. But with these tools, with this process, with these steps in their foundation, they're going to be able to bounce back. Okay. And that's what we want. Bounce back kids. Doesn't sound like a bad name, actually. But I hope this helped. I hope that you got something of value from this. And I encourage you to write a review and subscribe. And I definitely will catch you next week. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Positive Kids Podcast. For more information, visit our website at www.positivekp.com.